Hi, I'm Jamie Mayfield and I'm going to show you how to do the backstitch bind-off. I used the backstitch bind-off when I made these socks. They were toe up, and then I switched to waist yarn and I left a long tail and I sewed a bind-off so that I didn't have live stitches at the top of the sock. Now, it's harder to see these little stitches with sock knitting yarn or fingering weight yarn, so I've made a little tube on this 22 needle Centro. And I'm going to show you, this is what I've learned. If you take the yarn around there 3 times, that will leave a tail long enough for you to do your backstitch bind off. Okay, so what I'm going to do is leave a long tail and try to cut my yarn with these very dull scissors. And I'll get that tail back organized and tuck it in. And I will knit the waist yarn and the project yarn on the first needle. Now let me get my waist yarn, which I have right here. Okay, you like my knitting table? It's not the greatest. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and knit a few rows of waist yarn. I find that I use this little Centro more to show you guys stuff with yarn than I do to make something on it, but I understand you can make really cute things on it, like teddy bears and bunny rabbits. Alright, so I've given myself several rows of waist yarn because I don't want to run a stitch down into the project yarn. That's why I'm giving myself enough waist yarn. So I'm going to go ahead and crank this off. And it didn't come off. That's when you get problems with the waist yarn running stitches. Alright. This is when a table holding your stuff would really be handy, but my table... Is it still filming?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Somebody just rang us real quick. Alright, so now this is easy. Don't make this hard. What I'm going to do is draw cursive E's around the project. The reason I like the backstitch bind off is because it's stretchy. I find that when I latch the... Hey, you're supposed to be holding the camera still. You're going to show him what kind of help we have? He's very busy working on that rug. All right. So the yarn comes out this first stitch. So we're going to go this last stitch. We're going to go into that stitch and into stitch number 1. Okay, this is our setup. Now we're going to go from that last stitch into stitch number 2. Now, you can go around this way or you can flip it around and you can go around the other way. It doesn't matter. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up 1 and move forward 2. Back up 1 and move forward 2. Back up 1, move forward 2. You getting that clearly?
Mm-hmm.
Ranger just discovered he needs to pull on this tube, chew on it. Okay. He's a busy boy. Okay, back up 1 and forward 2. It always makes me think of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We go together like opposites attract. I know, this is why I didn't make a career as a disco singer. Because it sounds way better than in my head in the shower. So we're going to go back 1, forward 2, all the way around. And that's going to give us a selvage edge. Okay, if you've seen enough, you can, oh dear. There we go. I should be careful with my tail. He has something to chew on down there, but just like every typical puppy, my husband is texting and filming. Now the dog has found the cardboard cone of waste yarn. Now once we go through every stitch 2 times, we'll be finished. Okay, so this one only has gone through 1 time. So we have to go ahead and go through that one 2 times. And then we're done. Now that first one's kind of hiding over there. And let me show you how to take the waste yarn away from the project yarn. There's our sewn bind off. Okay, we're going to clip the leg of a stitch and clip the leg right above it. Flip it over, clip the leg of a stitch, clip the leg right above it. Then we're going to take and pull this little tail and it comes apart. We'll pull this tail. And if I got the right tail, apparently not. Let's pull this one and see what happens. Ha! I did it, except it got in a wad. Okay. There we go. Now the project yarn is away from the waste yarn. It never works perfect when I'm showing you how to do it, but there you have the backstitch bind off. And you want to do it at the same tension of the yarn so that it remains nice and stretchy. You don't want to make it too tight because then it would only stretch so much. Thanks for joining me.